Well. Looks like you guys liked my videos. And because of that, I am back with another video about the NCASE M2, giving you an update about my build. Now, shout out to you guys for the success of the past 3 videos. So I want to thank you for all your support. First things first, let's address this gap here. A lot of you guys keep mentioning the gap. I don't know if this is my particular unit or if this is a manufacturing problem, but it doesn't really bother me. But just to let you know, there is a slight gap in the front panel. And I did mention that I'm gonna try to reseat it. So this is the top panel and I'm reuniting it with the front panel. When you first initially put it on, obviously there's no gap, but when you're trying to tuck in that back section, uh, it moves slightly. And the reason for this is because there's these two notches essentially where the screws have to go in, but they have to fit in between a small space from the back panel. I'm going to use my visual aid, so this little space in between here. So even when you put the panel on, those notches have to fit in between that space. So even with me forcing it together and trying to squeeze the front and back panel together, the back is going to be very close together, but there will be that gap in the front, unfortunately. Okay, now moving on. So they finally sent me my GPU lock bar. This is what the GPU lock bar looks like. I would not have been able to install a GPU without it, or when I'm doing a vertical GPU orientation, I need this because guess what? I have to replace that black panel and only use the lock bar. Also, here is the power button for those of you who wanted to know. Moving on to a life update about me, I recently proposed to my then girlfriend and she said yes, so now I have a fiance. Yay, hooray for me! Moving on, now let's talk about why I haven't put anything inside of this case. One, it costs a lot of money. So the support from you guys will help me be able to actually make the videos that I want to. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Two, product availability is very scarce. Now I wanted to start with the power supply, but I found something very interesting. So this is on B&H's website, and this power supply is on back order, special order. Now let's check Best Buy. Best Buy used to sell this Cooler Master V1100 SFX power supply, and it's nowhere to be found on their website. Why is that? So let's check another website. Let's check Adorama. Well, I mean, we all know Adorama, but on their website, they also don't have the power supply. Okay, let's check a different website. Let's check Micro Center. Let's see what's going on with the Cooler Master V1100. Nowhere to be found. I wonder why. Okay, let's put out of stock. Okay, it's there. Guess what? Sold out. So let's go on Newegg. Let's see what they got. Yeah, you must be out your goddamn mind. I'm not paying for that. So what wound up happening is the only place you can actually get this power supply is on Amazon. This is where I bought it. The only reason why I bought it is because I'm afraid, one, because of the scalping, and two, because if this new 50 series GPU comes out, is there going to be a different port? So that's something that I have to consider, but I wound up getting the power supply just in case. Now, talking about NCASE, I do want to thank NCASE for actually taking a lot of the feedback from the community. They have updated their website very much, and it's a lot clearer than it was previously. So I have a treat for you guys. I wound up buying the M2 glass window, so maybe you won't have to. So it is pretty pricey. It's $35 before shipping, and they do caution you about using it. They don't want you to break the glass. And they also have a slotted version, but I just think this kind of looks cheap, especially for an expensive case. So I stuck with the regular version. So here it is. As you can see, I did not take off the fragile sticker. I literally just got this in. It took about 3 weeks for me to get it. And it doesn't feel super heavy duty or whatnot. It also doesn't feel like it could break. There's a slight give to it. I'm not sure what material it's made out of, but if they're saying it's fragile, that means it probably could break. So let's take this plastic off. Now, I'm not going to take the protective film off of it because, duh, like, are you dumb? Like, I'm not going to get fingerprints on it before I actually start building. So when I do start building, I will do the peel test ASMR bullshit, because you guys like it, of course. Now, just so you know, there's a particular way you have to put this in. So these little slots, this is for the outer part, and those slots right there actually go into the same slots that that mesh panel goes into. So make sure it's secure because it's not going to sit there like how the mesh panels would. So it might actually fall out, which is what they were talking about in terms of it breaking. Okay, so this part is going to be facing outside of the case. So those little slots is going to go in that groove on the inside of the case right over here, just like so. It's not tinted, so you can see right through it. I still have the film on it. That's why it looks a little cloudy, just so you know. And then you could install the top panel, same as you would with the mesh panels, gaps and all, or whatnot. And this is what it's going to look like, because best believe if I get my hands on a 5090, I want to show that bitch. And again, just for clarification, I did buy an extra radiator mount just for side cooling, just to have an additional option. Okay, so now let's talk about components. I don't know if I'm going to be Team AMD or Team Intel. I don't care. Yes, I understand AMD is performing better, but let's talk about the components themselves. So I am interested in the MSI Z890i ITX board, mainly because of the two Thunderbolt 4 ports, as well as this, they have this new slot that I thought was really cool, where for an expansion slot, you put them in very similar to the RAM sticks, and you get an additional M.2. Now let's check, wait, this isn't right, hold on one second. There we go. So this is AMD's X870i from Gigabyte. New boards are slowly trickling in, so I'm curious to see what the other manufacturers make. This would be another option that I would be interested in. Both ITX motherboards can actually do 128 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, which is cool. The highest kit that I can find is a 96 gigabyte one, so hopefully newer kits come out where each stick is 64 gigabytes. Now back to the MSI Intel board. First of all, two Thunderbolt 4. The CPU power is actually in the middle of the board, which might help with cable management. This MSI Z890 has 5 gig Ethernet, and it could fit up to 4 M.2 SSDs. I don't know about y'all, but that's pretty fire. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now remember these 3D printed files for the I/O that doesn't come with the most expensive variant of the M2? NCASE, I have an idea for you. So this is what you do. Take this design, this other piece, throw it away. Make it out of this stuff, whatever this material is. Put two of these things, the 15mm feet, and guess what? The I/O that's supposed to go in here, include it. Put it as a package, put it as a kit. And now we have an official M2 case feet. And make sure you put better screws too. Alright guys, with NVIDIA dropping their new GPUs at CES, and as well as the scalping happening with all the CPUs that are doing really well, I'm going to take my time doing this build. And I would advise you to do the same. You know, you should wait because there's a lot of things that we have to wait on. We have to see if the new GPUs are going to have a new connector, which would suck because then that would mean I have to return my power supply. I'm still waiting on those 64 gigabyte kits for the RAM sticks, as well as picking an actual motherboard. The next and final video about this NCASE M2 is going to be me actually building inside of it, so I'm super excited to work on that. Just be patient, guys. And like always, thank you for watching, thank you for the support, and like, comment, and subscribe.